Hello everyone and welcome back to the Atlassian Community Roundup. This is for February 2024, and as always we have a wonderful amount of content for you to love this month. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, we're going to kick things off with our announcements and highlights as we usually do. And first up, it just wouldn't be right if we didn't call attention to the fact that the server end of life happened on February 15th. If, like me, you got your start on a server version of one of Atlassian's products, and that's what helped elevate your career, I think a moment of silence is due for the things that we will remember fondly. With that, moving on, the community has a few announcements that are worth talking about. First up was this year's February challenge, Community Cupid, which did happen and end on February 14th. I think there's a little bit of leeway either side of it, just to allow everyone to have an appropriate amount of time within their own time zone to make sure that they had an opportunity to complete it. All you had to do was like, comment, make a comment, give some kudos, and you would earn the Community Cupid badge as a kudos badge. If you managed to do that 100 times on the 14th, which basically meant you were going to be spending a significant amount of time to be involved in the community, you could make the Super Cupid award, which went out to a number of people this week. And the reward was choosing whether 100 trees or 100 pounds of plastic would be cleaned up based on the two other events that Atlassian runs throughout the year for planting trees and cleaning up the ocean. So there were a number of people who got to choose their rewards. It was split about equal 50-50 on which ones were chosen, but either way, thank you Atlassian for putting a challenge out there that all went to a good cause in the end. Next up, you might be familiar with the Confluence product collection and the Confluence Cloud one. To make things a little bit simpler, they are both being merged together into the Confluence collection of the community. So now when you need to ask a question related to Confluence, there's just one place you need to go to ask your question. You don't have to think about it. Next up, and the last one, I believe, as far as community announcements, there is a badge that has been launched. I don't believe there is an end date on this one, but this is for social media posts. So you can earn the Social Butterfly Community Kudos badge simply by tagging Atlassian content. And I believe you also need to mention the tagging Atlassian on LinkedIn posts. So if you find something relevant about Atlassian, you tag them in the post and make a few posts on LinkedIn about that. The Social Butterfly badge could be yours. Next up, I know everyone's already been talking about Team 24, and if you've already heard, I hope that you have registered already. If you haven't, and this is the first time you're hearing about it, this is your reminder that Team 24's registration is open. I believe the highest early bird discount may have already ended as of this video going live, but if not, you will only have a couple of days to get in there. So if you want to get the best discount, please get in there immediately. There is still additional discounts, just not quite as good as the early bird special. But the sooner you can register, the better discount chance you will have. I will be there live in Vegas, so will a number of other community leaders. And if you haven't been before, it is a great opportunity to network with other like-minded people and share your challenges and your expertise on the Atlassian ecosystem. Next, can't talk about events without talking about Mark Croth, who has shared some of the insights that came from one of the most recent events held in Sydney. If you haven't seen an event with Mark Croth, I encourage you to try and get to one either in person or virtual. I know he runs a number of them monthly that are virtual events. He's a wonderful speaker, definitely someone worth listening to or meeting in person. I highly recommend reading through this. He's got some really good insights on things that will help advance teamwork. And speaking of teamwork, Nikki is back with another Teamwork Tuesday post. This one about how do you work with async? I think she's got some really insightful thoughts here. The comment section is got some really good people with their own opinions, so I recommend reading through this and adding your own thoughts and opinions to this article. And next up, Amanda Barber has provided the ultimate guide to starting a project, and I'm going to say this is extremely complete. The graphics are wonderful, and this is definitely going to be one of those things that will help newbies, as well as it's a good reminder for you, the veterans out there as well, of everything that goes into creating a good Jira project. And finally, for our announcements, the 7 steps to create a culture of kindness in the workplace. I don't know how else to say. This was just a absolutely fabulous read, and it couldn't have come at a better time than February. I highly recommend reading through these. There are some definitely good ideas on how to bring more kindness into the culture of your workplace. And that's all we've got for our announcements and highlights for the month of February. Okay, moving right on over into our new features and product updates. First up, there is now in early access for Jira software an ability to see work suggestions for developers. So basically what that's going to mean is there are a number of things that may require your action. And so when you come into your Jira board on a given day, there's now going to be a new panel which will make suggestions on the things that might need your attention first. That could be pull requests you've been added to a reviewer on, other things that you've been suggested to make work changes, failed deployments, critical security vulnerabilities, all of those sorts of things. This is a cool option, in my opinion, of just being able to highlight some of the things that you should start working on if you're not exactly sure where you should start in a day. As I said, it is in early access, so it's not 100% generally available, but definitely something you can sign up for. Next up, Compass now has an easy method for tagging components in your Jira software tickets. So not only have they made the integration between Jira software and Compass stronger, they've also mentioned that the basic users of Confluence, you can have an unlimited number of them, and they have the ability to create individual components as well as read the entire component library, which makes it very easy for you to get components in your system, get them attached to Jira software tickets, and start being able to track the features and issues that are coming up in the various components that you have that make up your architecture. If you haven't started using Compass, now might be a time to try it out. Next up, the Atlassian Assist bot. If you are a Jira service management subscriber and you've been making use of the conversational ticketing or Atlassian Assist, it's worth noting that Help, which was the initial company that Atlassian acquired, the functionality of Help is going to be end of life on June 4th of 2024. And as such, as of yesterday, according to when this post will have gone out, they will be making some changes to that bot to make it more part of Jira Service Management and less a part of the, I'm going to call it the legacy Help system. Next, as it relates to Ops Genie, incident management, and stakeholder communications, Google made some new email protections at the beginning of this month, which has caused a ripple effect to some changes that Atlassian has had to make for stakeholder emails for incidents. Now, and this is only for incidents specifically, as far as I know, the users that are listed as stakeholders to receive those emails will need to be verified users. I would recommend you come here and read the full article to understand exactly how this might affect you and the communications you're sending out to your incident stakeholders. Next, improvements to the Atlassian links within Jira Product Discovery. What this means is that when you put in a URL now, if it is an Atlassian product, it's going to use the smart links that you have come to know and love in all the other products so that it's more easy for you to identify what the link is that has been put in there, whether it's a Jira ticket, a link to an Atlas project, or a Confluence page itself. So if you have been struggling with URLs and being able to at a glance see what has been linked, this might be a much needed feature for you. Next, it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention something about our wonderful data center projects, and both Bitbucket and Bamboo have had a number of new updates. So this is a collection of all of the changes that have come out recently. I encourage you to go and check this out and see how it might affect your Bitbucket and Bamboo environments on data center. Moving over to the cloud side of Bitbucket, if you have been waiting for the unified user experience, and by that I mean using your admin organization to manage all of the user accounts, especially those coming through using Atlassian Access to have users provisioned for Bitbucket Cloud, that is now available, and you can read more about how to get everything set up in this article. Next up, continuing with Bitbucket Cloud, Forge has now launched general availability of the Bitbucket Cloud usability within Forge. So if you are a developer who likes extending the Atlassian products with Forge, up to this point, it's mainly been both Jira and Confluence. Bitbucket is now on that list of things that you can edit through Forge. So if you are looking to play around with what you can do in your source code repository tool, go check out what Forge has available for you to work with. And finally, and I think this might be the biggest news for this month, if you have been on the long-awaited drag and drop tables for Confluence, they are now coming out. So I'm not exactly sure when they will arrive. I tried it on this instance a couple of days ago, on my personal one a couple of days ago, and I didn't see it there yet. So sit tight. It's coming. You can now do drag and drop in tables, so there can be much rejoicing on the much needed improvement to Confluence. And that is all that we have for our new features and product updates. Be sure to check out the trending discussions if there's other things you want to dive right into in the community. The questions left out in the cold if you think you might be able to help out with some people who haven't gotten an answer. And our automation corner, which has a couple of wonderful articles this month. And with that, that's all I have for the month of February. I hope you have enjoyed this collection as much as I always enjoy putting it together for you. That being said, it's been a wonderful month for content. I had a lot of troubles picking and choosing what to include and what not to include because there is so much good content out there. I know that I say this every month, but it's worth saying again. This is just a tiny piece of all the amazing content that's on the online community. So once you are done here, be sure to go and explore the community yourself for all the other great things that are out there that just couldn't make it onto this list. And with that, thanks for stopping by.